Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we tear through massive stacks of research and administrative manuals so you don't have to. If you've ever looked at a really complex governance problem, like, say, managing the infrastructure for millions of people, and just wondered, what is the first practical thing you actually do, then this deep dive is for you.
Today we are cracking open a profoundly tactical source block. It's a strategic governance manual. It's used for training and testing high-level administrators, specifically, candidates aspiring to become a district magistrate in a really demanding state like Haryana.
So this strips away all the theory.
Completely. It focuses entirely on action-oriented strategy. What priorities deliver immediate, measurable results?
Right. So we aren't analyzing what should happen in some perfect administrative world. We are distilling the exact cold, hard priorities a top administrator is expected to articulate when they walk into a new job.
Our mission here is to extract that essential, high-leverage knowledge about public service delivery and, frankly, realistic problem-solving under extreme pressure.
Okay, so how are we going to structure this?
We've set it up to follow the administrative lifecycle. We'll start with the non-negotiable framework for a DM's first 100 days. That's the rapid deployment plan for establishing control.
And then?
Then we'll tackle the specific district challenges covered in the source material: water scarcity, the lag in urban infrastructure, and finally, resilience through health and livelihoods.
And the essential takeaway from this manual, which you, the listener, should keep in mind, is that it's testing, decision-making, prioritization, and realism, not just, memorizing schemes.
Exactly. It asks, can you make the existing machinery work better, faster, and more reliably?
It's about maximizing output with existing input.
That's it.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately. When a new district magistrate takes the reins, there's a huge political and administrative clock running. What are the absolute top priorities for that crucial first, say, 60 to 100 days? You can't solve corruption on day one, so where do you even start?
The manual is incredibly pragmatic on this. The core focus, it says, must be on service stability and building immediate administrative legitimacy.
Legitimacy. So trust.
Yes. You cannot undertake any large, complex, long-term project until the population trusts you can deliver the absolute basics.
Service stability. It sounds like ensuring the engine runs smoothly before you try to upgrade the whole car. What are those non-negotiable basics?
They're defined by their visibility and daily necessity. First, ensuring uninterrupted basic services: drinking water, sanitation, maintaining roads.
And why those specifically?
Because the perception of administrative legitimacy starts and ends with reliable, everyday delivery. I mean, if the tap is dry, the citizens' trust in you is immediately zero. It doesn't matter what big schemes you launch later.
That's a powerful insight. Credibility is built on the basics, but district administration is so siloed. It's full of, turf wars between agencies. How does the manual suggest tackling those inevitable coordination failures? That was question 7 in the source, I think.
Right. The solution isn't creating new organizations or more bureaucracy. It's about strengthening the existing interdepartmental coordination through really operational discipline.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
It means instituting weekly review meetings that are strictly focused on outcomes, not just the movement of files or, theoretical progress.
But we all know meetings can be a huge waste of time. How do you enforce a weekly meeting that's actually focused on outcomes when bureaucratic inertia is so high?
It emphasizes the role of technology for enforcement. The administrator has to use data dashboards to publicly track performance indicators for each department.
So not just inputs, but results.
Tangible results, yes. And you link those results directly to the weekly meeting agenda. That moves the discussion from excuses to accountability.
So outcomes linked to public data, that forces a certain level of honesty. And what's the third priority for those first 100 days?
Accountability, specifically through feedback loops. You have to activate and rigorously use the redressal mechanisms.
Like what?
The manual specifically mentions leveraging established platforms like the CM window, that's the Chief Minister's official platform for tracking public complaints, and using district-level dashboards to spot recurring issues.
So if the same problem shows up week after week,
it means the department responsible hasn't fixed the underlying system. Simple as that.
So if we summarize this first part for the listener, you build credibility in the first 3 months by focusing relentlessly on basic delivery and forcing coordination with data-driven accountability.
Exactly. That establishes the administrative control you need for the bigger fights ahead. It's the essential playbook.
Okay, so here's where we move into long game. Let's tackle one of the biggest challenges cited in the source material: water scarcity. The manual is smart here. It treats this as both a supply problem and a governance issue.
It is, and the way to tackle it is with a three-tiered time frame. It's a great structure for any massive, complex problem, really.
So break it down for us. What's the short term?
In the short term, the focus is pure emergency management, ensuring drinking water security through precise source mapping and dedicated tanker management. You prioritize domestic supply above all else.
Which means temporarily restricting other uses.
Often, yes. It's about immediate relief.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the medium term, the stuff that actually changes the vulnerability of the district?
The medium term is where the governance interventions become really aggressive and strategic. This involves enforcing rainwater harvesting laws, reviving traditional village ponds, and, this is crucial, using the convergence of MGNREGA funds specifically for water conservation works.
You just dropped a key administrative insight there. Convergence. And for our listeners, MGNREGA, that's the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. It's a huge government scheme for employment.
Right. A scheme designed to provide at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment to rural households.
And you're using that employment guarantee scheme to solve an ecological and resource management problem.
Exactly. This is the strategic insight. You leverage an existing pool of mandated funds and labor to create durable, decentralized water assets. The money is already there for rural development. The DM just directs it strategically toward water security.
That sounds brilliant on paper, but given the political pressures around schemes like MGNREGA, how does a DM make sure these funds aren't just, used for shoddy work to meet employment numbers?
The manual cites measurable success by focusing on asset quality, specifically deep trenches for percolation, check dams, pond revival, things that lead to proven groundwater recharge.
And this isn't just theory.
Not at all. This exact approach has shown measurable success in drought-prone districts, like in Rajasthan and Bundelkhand. But success depends on technical supervision, which the DM must enforce personally. Surprise checks, geotagging of assets, that sort of thing.
That's a fantastic nugget, using a poverty alleviation tool for tangible groundwater recharge.
Okay, so short-term relief, medium-term asset creation. What's the long-term goal?
That requires deep coordination with the agriculture and irrigation departments to promote crop diversification away from water-guzzling crops. And at the same time, scaling up micro-irrigation systems. It's about adjusting the demand side of the equation. And this all ties back to question 9 in the manual balancing development and environment. The essential lesson here is treating water as a district planning issue, not just an irrigation department task.
That holistic view is what forces the balance between short-term growth and long-term sustainability.
Let's pivot now to the urban challenge, which was Q3. Rapid urbanization is happening everywhere, and the source highlights a common pain point. Municipal capacity just lags critically behind that growth.
Right, the infrastructure just can't keep up.
So what are the key administrative steps there?
The strategic answer here is that administrators must focus intensely on operational improvements. Not expensive, time-consuming new schemes. You optimize what you have right now.
Give us some specific, actionable examples of those operational fixes. How do you make the existing waste collection or water system work better with the resources you already have?
You start with data and mapping. You implement GIS-based mapping of essential services like tracking water supply networks and precisely planning waste collection routes. You combine that with specific operational changes, like using performance-linked contracts for sanitation services, where payment actually depends on verified cleanliness metrics. And then you couple it all with rigorous daily monitoring of citizen complaints.
So linking performance directly to payment, that provides an immediate incentive. But what if you're the DM in a district where the municipal staff just lacks the capacity or maybe the political will to adopt GIS mapping overnight?
Well, it advocates for aggressive use of established examples. Cities like Indore and Surat have shown that these measures remapping routes, strict contracts, aggressive citizen feedback, dramatically improve cleanliness and service reliability without requiring major new spending.
So the change is in administrative design, not just throwing more money at it.
Exactly. It's about being smarter, not just richer.
And that brings us straight to the role of technology, which was question 8. Technology isn't just for making pretty dashboards, is it?
Not at all. According to this framework, technology must be used strictly for accountability and response time, not just for optics.
And the crucial insight there is,
Urban governance improves rapidly when that data is linked directly to administrative responsibility. You use GIS data, for example, to pinpoint exactly which ward officer failed to clear a collection route or respond to a complaint, and you hold them accountable immediately.
So the accountability has to flow transparently and quickly from the data. That's a powerful lesson.
It's a universal leadership strategy, just applied at the city scale.
Now let's look at the human element, improving health and tackling rural distress. For better health and nutrition outcomes, which was Q4, what's the key administrative lesson? Does it start with building bigger hospitals?
Actually, the manual suggests the highest return comes from the opposite direction. Improving health and nutrition requires focusing intently on last-mile delivery, not just on the big tertiary institutions. Meaning you strengthen the decentralized infrastructure, the primary health centers, or PHCs, and you ensure consistent, regular outreach by the foot soldiers on the ground.
And who are those foot soldiers?
The auxiliary nurse midwives, A&Ms, and the accredited social health activists, the ASHAs. They are the frontline workers. If their delivery chain fails, the entire system fails.
So how does a DM monitor that effectively?
By using district health dashboards to track vital indicators, immunization rates, maternal care, nutrition, but broken down not just by district, but block by block.
Why is that block-by-block tracking so critical?
Because it identifies pockets of failure that get hidden by district-wide averages. It allows for targeted administrative intervention. The manual specifically highlights the positive impact of real-time monitoring under schemes like POSHAN Abhiyaan, the National Nutrition Mission.
And that's for early identification of malnutrition cases.
Exactly. When a case is identified immediately, resources can be deployed before the problem becomes critical.
And once more, I'm sensing that thread we keep seeing, convergence. Nutrition isn't just a health issue.
Precisely. It's closely linked to sanitation, drinking water, community awareness. Effective intervention requires mandatory coordination convergence with the education, sanitation, and women and child departments.
So the PHC can treat the child, but other departments have to ensure clean water and access to food to prevent it from happening again.
That's the whole picture.
Convergence is the connective tissue of this entire manual.
Okay, let's transition that idea to agriculture and livelihoods. Agrarian distress is an ongoing reality. How do administrators address this proactively?
The administrative approach has to focus on income stability, not just on reactive, costly measures like crop price support or disaster relief. The goal is building systemic resilience.
So how is MGNREGA used strategically here, beyond just being a reactive job scheme when crops fail?
It's employed proactively. During the lean seasons, you use it for pre-planned water conservation and asset creation. This turns the employment guarantee into a safety net that simultaneously builds durable assets that support agriculture indirectly.
So you're turning a reactive measure into a productive investment. That's the idea. It's a proactive safety net that also serves development.
What else contributes to income stability in the manual?
Diversification and organization, promoting skill-linked programs and supporting the formation of farmer-producer organizations, or FPOs.
Which are basically local cooperatives.
Yes, they help farmers access better markets, manage supply chains, and gain bargaining power. It helps diversify income beyond just traditional cropping.
So the ultimate lesson here seems to be districts that successfully converge agriculture, rural development, and skill departments show much better resilience during climatic stress.
Focus isn't just reacting to distress. It's about fundamentally reducing the district's vulnerability profile. That's the definition of strategic, forward-looking governance.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner? We've looked at a manual that covers everything from GIS mapping urban routes to leveraging a national employment scheme for drought management.
And we can really synthesize the overarching administrative philosophy here into three core interlocking principles. First, prioritizing immediate basic service stability to establish the administrative legitimacy you need for everything else.
Second, using data and technology strictly for accountability and rapid response, you have to make sure responsibility is clearly linked to the metrics to minimize those operational gaps.
And the third, the thread that ran through every single answer we discussed, is convergence. Successful administration demands treating complex issues like water or nutrition as holistic district planning problems.
So getting multiple departments and existing resources to connect and act together instead of leaving them in their isolated departmental silos.
It's about connectivity, not necessarily capacity expansion. It's about leveraging what you already have.
This entire framework relies heavily on connecting those dots between existing agencies. So, for you, the listener, think about an administrative or a professional challenge you're currently facing, whether that's in a public organization, a nonprofit, or a business. Consider which existing unconnected resource or department within your organization could be converged with your current efforts to deliver a more stable, higher impact outcome. That is the true power of strategic governance.